take a seat and get quiet so we can get started on our assembly. Thank you. All right, good morning and welcome our students, faculty, staff, guests to Eisenhower Middle School. This is our annual Veterans Day Assembly. My name is Dr. Jenny Hanna, and I am so grateful that you all were able to join us today. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Sergeant Major Hall and his JROT students, including Cadet PFC Soto, Cadet PFC Davis, Cadet Private Alcott, and Cadet Private Wheatley for the posting of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, Please take a seat.
And we're just waiting for them to finish marching.
All right, audience members, let's quiet down so we can start our presentation.
Hello, I am Nick Driver,
And I'm Savannah Foster.
and we would like to discuss what makes a veteran. A veteran is anyone who has served in the U.S. Armed Forces. Branches of the military include the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and Space Force, with National Guard and Reserve components. For nearly all branches, veterans may serve for just a few years or can make an entire career out of it, and also serve during both times of war and peace.
Many veterans aren't just friends and family. They're everywhere in our community, in our world, especially as we are lucky enough to live in a military community. Perhaps you have a family member who is currently serving in the armed forces, or maybe a grandfather, an aunt, a sibling, or a distant cousin who has served before or previously. They may no longer wear the uniform, but that makes it all the more important to acknowledge the sacrifices they made, and not just on Veterans Day, but every day we can. So at this time, if you are a military veteran in our audience, we would like to ask that you stand. EMS students, let's give a hand to all the veterans in attendance. Thank you. Please take a seat.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kane Davis, and this is Haley Petty. And I would like to share a little about the history of Veterans Day. Veterans Day is a federal U.S. holiday that honors American veterans for all wars, whether they are currently whether they are currently serving or not. This holiday provides an opportunity to express our gratitude for the sacrifices soldiers made to protect our freedom. Veterans Day lands on the same day every year, November 11th. That makes it actually start as an that's because it actually started as another holiday known as Armistice Day. Armistice Day commemorates the day in 1918 when German and Allied nations signed a temporary treaty that became the yet unofficial end of World War I. The official end of the war actually came until the day of the Treaty of Versailles in 1919.
This truce, or armistice, was signed on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Hence the reason why many countries observe the holiday on or near November 11th. Our government declared Armistice Day a federal holiday in 1938 with an additional focus on encouraging our citizens to show gratitude for the sacrifices made by veterans of war. In 1954, we changed the holiday's official name to Veterans Day in an effort to honor the veterans of all wars and not just World War I. Veterans have risked their lives, health, and well-being to protect their country and its people. Recognizing them is a way of saying thank you for the sacrifices they and their families have made, often at great personal cost. The freedoms and safety that we all enjoy today were defended by those who served. Honoring veterans, not just on Veterans Day, but each and every day, reminds us that liberty isn't free. It's maintained through courage, duty, and often personal hardship. And now, our award-winning EMS band plays a military song medley. Any of our veterans in attendance are welcome to stand when they hear the branches song.
All right. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Okay, so let me tell you once again, like it was announced, we're going to play the service songs. Okay? So if you have a family member and you hear the service song, I'm going to announce each song we play. I want you to stand up if that member was in that service or is still in that service. For example, if I say the United States Coast Guard, if you know somebody is in the Coast Guard, stand up until the song is over with, and then you go back and have a seat. Okay, everybody got it? The only song that we don't have the Space Force song. I'm working on getting that, but that's also a branch of the military now. Okay? All right, we're going to get started. Ready position? One, two, ready, and. The United States Coast Guard. The United States Air Force. The United States Navy. The United States Marine Corps. The United States Army.
Thank you. Everyone, please take a seat. That's not part of the program. Here we go.
Thank you for that brilliant performance. Let's give them another round of applause. Hello, I am Savannah Mayberry, and we will begin sharing fun facts and stories about our very own Eisenhower Middle School staff members who are veterans or have military connections. Faculty and staff, when your name is called, please stand and wave as we share some insights to your service. I will start with Ms. Secco, Mr. Williams, Ms. Matos, Mr. Gulick, Mr. Kimbrell, and Mr. Iser. Miss Secco's father and both grandfathers were in the Army. Her favorite place they moved to was Schwiebischmann, Germany, where they lived for 3 years. Both her grandfathers fought in World War II, and one of them also fought in the Korean War. Mr. Williams and his father both served in the military. He said that his favorite duty station was Germany. Miss Matos served in the U.S. Army and says that her favorite duty station was in Kaiserslautern, Germany. During his time serving in the Army, Mr. Gulick deployed to both Iraq and Afghanistan, where he operated a lot of large construction equipment. His father also served 4 years in the U.S. Navy. Mr. Kimbrell served in the United States Marine Corps and earned the rank of Staff Sergeant during that time. He also served during the Operation Desert Storm while enlisted in the Marine Corps. While serving the U.S. Army, Mr. Iser once had dinner with the President of the United States and hosted meetings with one U.S. Secretary of Defense and 3 U.S. Secretaries of Army. He feels privileged, being his father's 25-year career in the Air Force and his own 27 career in the Army. He feels privileged to have traveled most of his life, experiencing other cultures, seeing and doing things that most people can only imagine.
Good morning. I'm Emerson Brown, and I will share some highlights about Mrs. Terry, Mr. and Mrs. Barrett, Miss McClelland, and Sergeant Major Hall. Mrs. Terry was in the Marine Corps along with her husband, and their sons have both served in the Navy and the Marines. Fun story. Mrs. Terry was number 1 in her baking class, so she got first choice for duty station and picked Camp Pendleton in California. Luckily enough, that's where she met her husband, and they have been happily married for 47 years. Mr. George Barrett had the honor to serve in the U.S. Army Band for 29 years. During this time, he met and served with his wife, Vanessa, which gave them the chance to travel around the world together and perform for many U.S. presidents as well as other dignitaries. They have also served together in Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom. The couple said that one of the best duty assignments was the 3 years in South Korea, where their sons could live and learn about other cultures. Miss Latoya McClellan served in the United States Army, and she says that her fondest memories were during her time spent serving in Germany. Sergeant Major Hall served in the U.S. Army. His favorite duty was serving as drill sergeant, and his favorite duty station was Fort Bliss, Texas. He is very proud to have obtained the highest enlisted rank attainable while serving and to have earned his master's degree in science and organizational leadership. He also has a brother who has served 21 years in the military.
Hello, I am Chelsea Eastlass, and I am honored to share some details about Mrs. McDonald, Mrs. McCannell, Miss Irwin, Miss Norman, and Miss Price. Mrs. McDonald's husband served in the U.S. Army when they first got married. At the age of 21, she says the military provided a stable home and helped them both learn how to grow up quickly, as her husband deployed and she was left to manage the house on her own. Mrs. McDonald claims that they are both better people because of their time connected to the military, and nothing made her prouder than seeing her husband in his uniform. However, her favorite memory will always be when he proposed to her over the phone during one of his deployments. Mrs. Kelly McCannell's father, Orville Biddy, served in the U.S. Navy. Her husband served in the U.S. Air Force, and their daughter served in the Air National Guard. Miss Irwin grew up as a military brat, as her father served 22 years in the Army before retiring. Her favorite place that they were stationed was Germany, and she said that they were lucky enough to be stationed there 3 times during her childhood. Miss Norman's military father had to be given a special duty assignment so she could graduate from high school. His unit had orders to move stateside in December of her senior year, but the state they were going to be moving to would not have let her graduate because she hadn't taken a year-long state history class. This was an uncommon occurrence during those days. Miss Price is a proud Army brat who has lived all over the world. Although her favorite place was definitely Europe, her father, Command Sergeant Major Galen Stockton, retired after nearly 3 decades of service. When she reflects on her experience, she admits that moving every 3 years was not enjoyable, as they didn't have social media back then to help stay in touch with friends. However, she was able to learn how to adapt and make friends quickly everywhere she went, which is a great skill to have. Interesting fact about these last two. Miss Price and Miss Norman both attended the same school for 7th grade, Frankfurt Junior High School in Frankfurt, Germany. What a small world.
Hello, everyone. I am Mariah Foster, and I will share our last 3 people, Miss Hall, Miss Turner, and Dr. Hannah. Miss Hall served in the U.S. Air Force for the last 4 years, stationed at Otford Air Force Base in Nebraska. When she received her orders after basic training and saw NE on it, she thought she was headed to the East Coast, only to find out it meant Nebraska. She said out loud, "Where in the world is Nebraska?" and had to have it pointed out on a map. Her husband, Andrew Clark, and her brother, Michael Hall, both served 4 years in the Army, while her father, Tom E. Hall Jr., served 23 years in the Army, and all three are here at Fort Sill. Miss Melanie Turner's father, Chief Warrant Officer Fred Turner, was a helicopter pilot who served in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. One of her favorite memories is when she was in grade school in Lawton and her dad would fly over the playground during recess with 3 or 4 other helicopters. The tail of the helicopter would shake at all of them, and all the children on the playground would yell and wave, "Melody, there's your dad." If there is a connection to the military, Dr. Hannah has it. She grew up as a military brat as her father retired as a command sergeant major from the Minnesota National Guard after serving for over 30 years. She met her future husband at basic training before following him to Fort Sill, which allowed her to serve in the Arizona and Oklahoma Army National Guard. She then became a military spouse as her husband deployed twice during Operation Iraqi Freedom. The couple has one son who is currently an air traffic controller in the Air Force, stationed in Washington, and several brothers and sisters who have also served in the armed forces, including one who just retired from the Army in this past month. Her research and studies in various publications, including a professional development book, have focused on military families and children. Let's have one more round of applause for these veterans.
Thank you again to Mrs. Price's broadcasting students for coming up here. That takes a lot of bravery to be willing to come and speak in front of your peers. So one more round of applause for them. All right. Now, I'm more than certain that we probably have other people of our EMS faculty and staff who have military connections. We just have only chosen those that have shared with us for the presentation here, okay? And now I would like to welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Nathan Short. Specialist Nathan Short joined National Guard in 1999 and went into active duty in 2000. He was sent to Iraq for Operation Iraqi Freedom, where he was severely injured in an accident with a palletized load system, or a PLS truck, when he was delivering supplies. He spent a month in intensive care in Walter Reed. Was kind of lucky to survive it. He worked then for Ability One and was contracted out at Tinker Air Force Base for 2 years before being promoted to Quality Assurance Manager for PCSI corporate offices in Austin, Texas. He is now the Quality Control Manager for Public Works at Fort Sill. He lives here in Lawton, Oklahoma, with his wife, his 4 of his 7 children. Nathan has shared his story with more than 100 different audiences just like you across this country for federal contracting officers, so he can help secure more Ability One contracts, which help create jobs for those with disabilities. On a personal note, Nathan was Mr. Hannah, my husband's battle buddy. He made sure that my husband came home to me and my son in Iraq. So when I count my blessings, he's at the top of that list. So please give a warm Viking welcome to Mr. Nathan Short.
We need this kid to the office. Savannah Floyd.
Good morning, Vikings. Happy Friday.
Sorry. Real quick, I'm so sorry to cut off short, but he's used to it. Savannah Clay, we need you to the front office. So sorry for the interruption. Shush, are you all gonna go too? Okay.
Good morning, Vikings. Happy Friday. After Dr. Hannah asked if I would speak to y'all about Veterans Day, it took me about 6-7 times to get a speech right. I sent it to her, and hopefully I got a good grade. I seen that a lot of y'all are connected to the military through family members, loved ones that have served. That's pretty awesome. I served in the Army from July of '99 to May of 2005. I grew up in Oklahoma City, and all I ever wanted to do was just be in the military. I graduated from a military school called Thunderbird Youth Academy in Pryor, Oklahoma. Shortly after that, I joined the Oklahoma National Guard in July of 1999. I served with the Guard for a little short stint and kind of got bored with that, so I went active duty. So I got to pick. So I picked Fort Lee, Fort Carson, and Italy. And after all that excitement, I got stationed here at Fort Sill, just an hour and a half away from where I grew up. When I got here to Fort Sill in September of 2000, I was assigned to 15 Transportation Company. This is where I met Dr. Hannah's husband. He was actually the one who helped and processed me and show me around. We hit it off pretty good. We became brothers, BFF, battle booze. We deployed in January of 2003 to Iraq, and I was sent home a little bit early because I had a tumor in my left ankle. So after a quick surgery and a little bit of physical therapy, I was back to 100%. I volunteered to redeploy in January of 2004, and I was attached to 32nd Transportation Company out of Fort Carson. The deployment was going great, and we were busy, and I was in the best shape of my life, and I only had a few more weeks to go. On April 20th, 2004, I was returning from a 2-week-long mission when a herd of camels came onto the road, and we were running out of room to stop and had to avoid a car with a family in it, and we ended up slamming into the truck in front of us. The impact knocked me out, and when I came to, I was still in my seatbelt, but I was hanging outside the truck. I was medevac to Kuwait City and then to Germany for a week. And then I was flown to Walter Reed Medical Center in DC, and my wife and my mom were there already. I came back to Fort Sill in June of 2004 to finish up my recovery. The injuries I sustained was a broken foot, broke leg, broken hip, shattered pelvis, and I had some internal damage. It took a lot of work to recover and a lot of struggles, but luckily I had an amazing support system. My family, my brothers and sisters I served with, and Dr. Hannah and my battle boo were always there for me and my wife. I was medically retired from the Army in May of 2005, and my family and I returned back to Oklahoma City. At that time, I had 2 sons, Caleb and Spencer. After a few months and trying to figure out what I was going to do, I got a job with PCSI at Tinker Air Force Base, where I was asked to speak to federal contracting officers across the country, something I thought I'd never do. After 2.5 years, I was promoted to PCSI's corporate office in Austin, Texas. And in 2012, moved back here to Lawton. I've worked at Fort Sill for the past 13 years as a quality manager for the Department of Public Works. Over a 14-year span, I gave more than 150 speeches. And because of my story, I was able to help companies get awarded contracts and created thousands of jobs for people with disabilities, to include veterans. My wife, Courtney, and I have 7 children now, 3 which have came through Eisenhower Middle School, and 3 have graduated through Eisenhower High School. And then the 4th one is a junior this year. If I could leave you with a couple things. If it wasn't for veterans, we wouldn't be able to live the way we do now. I'm not saying you have to go and thank every veteran that you meet, but just respect the sacrifice that they and their families go through to serve this country. And lastly, life always is full of challenges and obstacles. 11 years after the accident, I ended up having to get my right leg amputated below the knee. After doing that, I was able to coach my kids in softball, football, and basketball. And I was able to get back outdoors and be active again. In a split second, my entire life changed because of the accident. I had moments where I wanted to give up and accept defeat, but I had an awesome support system with my family and friends that kept me on track and motivated. With that, please never give up on your goals. Keep pushing. Surround yourself with like-minded, positive people that have the same aspirations and drive. You have the world at your fingertips. Thanks for listening. Go out, be great, and be better than you was yesterday.
Start again. Thank you again to Mr. Short for coming to speak for us and to all of our current and former service members and guests for coming to our ceremony. We thank you all for your service. At this time, our student body, we are going to ask that you remain seated while we exit the auditorium. We are going to allow our guests to exit first and begin in an orderly dismissal in third hour. Mr. Barrett, would you like to have the band play something while we let them release? All right. Thank you, and wait for you to be dismissed from your rows. Thank you.